Ready, set, hut, hut.
As the hills of West Virginia resound with the sounds of Golden Blue football.
Almost heaven, West Virginia.
Now let's bring on the Mountaineers. Goes around about the 50 to 10 to 5. A touchdown, West Virginia. He did it.
He did it. Patrick White. Touchdown, Tay Von Austin.
But Don Nehlen's Mountaineers enjoy walking in where angels fear to tread.
I think you think that these guys are going to fall over dead for you. Well, I got news for you. They're going to punch you right in the mouth.
It's Mountaineer pride.
Nothing cheap, nothing dirty, but West Virginia football. West Virginia football.
We've no doubt tonight they shouldn't have played the old Golden Blue. Not this night.
They've done it. They've done it. A perfect season.
And the Mountaineers, for the first time in history, undefeated and untied.
Don Nehlen and his Mountaineers, for the second time, have finished a regular season with an unblemished mark.
Ain't no stopping the Golden Blue.
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
What's going on, Mountaineer Nation? Welcome into another live stream here on the Country Roads webcast, June 23rd edition. And how about it? 2 more commits for the 2026 class. That total now up to 22 names already here in June. West Virginia, getting close to wrapping up this 2026 recruiting class if they can keep all these names in tow once signing day rolls around in December. Definitely, I wouldn't say that they would want to bring in more than probably 25 in this high school class. So, we're nearing the tail end of it, but we have a couple exciting prospects to talk about that have committed to the Mountaineers here recently, including one of the very best players in the state of West Virginia. We love keeping those in-state recruits home, and West Virginia keeps a big one home. Last year's Randy Moss Award winner. He's racked up a ton of stats. He has great size and ball skills, and we'll be talking about him here in this stream. That is none other than Malachi Thompson. West Virginia received a commitment from him. And then most recently, West Virginia adds a defensive back as well in Ricky Giles out of Texas. So a wide receiver and a defensive back we're going to highlight here in this stream that West Virginia has added into the mix. Another prospect that has West Virginia as a finalist will be deciding his college choice tomorrow. Plus, I got a little sneak peek for you guys that are channel members, or you guys that maybe want to consider coming channel members. This may be something that'll sway you that I'll share with you here towards the end of the stream. So that's what's on the docket here for this one. Appreciate you guys tuning in, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Those of you that are on Facebook or Twitch, be sure to come over to the Country Roads Webcast YouTube channel. Subscribe here so you can get access to the pre-recorded videos, podcast episodes, other stuff that we put out to keep you up to date on the WVU sports news, in addition to just these live streams. But if you are watching this on YouTube, whether live or on the playback, just take a quick second, hit that thumbs up button. It really helps us a ton with that YouTube algorithm. It'll help this video find more Mountaineer football fans like yourself. And if you're one of those that hasn't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button here on the channel. If you got any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, throw them in the live chat. I'll try and address those before we wrap up the stream for you guys that are in here watching live. If you're watching on the playback after the fact, you can throw your thoughts in the comment section. I'll respond to those in due time. Appreciate those interactions as well. So enough teasing and enough housekeeping out of the way. Let's pull up our CRW commitment tracker, because we got to talk about these names here that we've added to the list that now stands at 22 verbal commits for West Virginia already in this class. After these recent additions, these are the 2 that we're going to highlight here on this show. Wide receiver Malachi Thompson, 6'5", 200-pounder out of Nitro, West Virginia. And then defensive back Ricky Giles, listed as an athlete on some services, believed West Virginia is recruiting him as a safety. 6 foot, 175-pounder out of Texas. And we're going to highlight both of those prospects. But this is the complete recruiting class for 2026. All the verbal commitments West Virginia has thus far, all 22 of them. You can see on the screen here if you're watching the video version. But Can't forget you guys on the audio side. If you listen there on any podcast platform, leave us a rating. That helps out on that side of things. But if you're listening there, here are the 22 names committed to West Virginia in this 2026 class. You got tight end Sam Hamilton out of Ohio, running back Jet Walker out of Texas, my personal favorite commit thus far, quarterback Jaron Hughley out of Florida, defensive back Emory Snyder out of Oklahoma, defensive back Taj Powell out of Ohio, linebacker Cam Bam Bam Dwyer out of Florida, one of the JUCO additions in this class, defensive back Jalen Jones out of California, offensive lineman Rhett Morris out of New Jersey, another defensive back in Samaj Hill out of Pennsylvania, a defensive lineman in Cam Mallory out of Alabama, another D lineman in Noah Tischendorf out of Oregon, a linebacker in Miles Catchery out of Alabama, another linebacker in Antoine Sharp out of Florida, an offensive lineman, Camden Goforth out of Tennessee. The other JUCO pickup in this class is linebacker Aaron Edwards out of Oklahoma. Then we have wide receiver Robert Stith out of Florida, offensive lineman Justin Lyles out of Ohio, defensive back Imari Peterson out of Florida, wide receiver Charlie Hannafin out of Massachusetts, offensive lineman Lamarcus Dillard out of Maryland, and of course, wide receiver Malachi Thompson out of West Virginia and defensive back Ricky Giles out of Texas. There they are, the 22 names that are verbally committed to the Mountaineers thus far for this 2026 class. Take me home, 26, if you will. And now let's talk about these two recent commits we got to highlight here in this stream because I'm excited about these guys, particularly when you keep an in-state receiver home that's a 6'5" prospect coming out of high school that's racked up a ton of stats, not sacks, a ton of stats for Malachi Thompson. He's really done a great job there at Nitro. So let's dive into him first. Let's pull up his commitment graphic here, share it, then we'll hit his recruiting profiles and take a look at some highlights here. So Malachi Thompson announced on social media yesterday, home with the blue and gold hearts, hashtag committed, tagging WVU football and receivers coach Ryan Garrett. And you see the commitment graphic there. Pretty sweet edit. Whoever made that up for him looks pretty cool. You got the man trip there with the Cole on the field. You got, a couple pictures of him and then one of him there in the end zone. Pretty sweet graphic there announcing his commitment to WVU. So let's take a look at Mr. Thompson's recruiting profiles here on 247 and Rivals. And we know this is one of the top players in the state of West Virginia, obviously evidenced by, him earning the Randy Moss Award last season as a junior, still has a senior season left, still has more room to grow, and he's already 6'5", 200 pounds, and has put up, nearly 3,000 receiving yards across the past couple of seasons, I do believe. So I'm excited about this pickup. Not yet rated here on Rivals, but West Virginia gets into the mix, offering him a scholarship, and he chooses the Mountaineers over some other offers you see here amongst programs like Toledo, Temple, Ohio, Kent State, Marshall, Akron, just to name a few. So that's where it is on Rivals. And like I said, multiple of these guys we've seen West Virginia pick up that have yet to be rated. They will be rated in short order. And I think the same goes for Malachi Thompson. He'll be rated on both these sites probably in the near future. But for now, same remains there on 247. And I think we got the same offer list there as well. So it doesn't look like any big discrepancies there between the two sites. I think was Temple listed on the Rivals one? I can't remember, but Temple also offered him. But he chooses West Virginia, commits to the Mountaineers. And let's take a look at some of his highlight tape here, a little bit of his film. Full disclosure, instant reaction to both these films we're going to check out because haven't had a chance to dive in yet. Been at work all day, so wanted to cover these as soon as I could. But what we know about Malachi Thompson, number one wide receiver in WV. We said the Randy Moss Award winner. Already been a two-time first-team All-State performer as a sophomore and a junior. And like we said, nearly 3,000 receiving yards. So 2,857 receiving yards and 38 touchdowns over the past two seasons. Crazy numbers here for Malachi Thompson, who really, showed out recently, at Nitro. So here he is. And look at the size advantage he has on most of the guys he lines up with. I mean, coming in with that frame is already an advantage for a guy that's probably going to play outside receiver at 6'4", 6'5". Now at the college level, he'll probably be more of a possession guy, more of a, go up and get it guy, not necessarily a guy that's going to burn you with speed. He does have a little bit of speed. Don't let me knock him. I think he's probably about a 4.6 guy. Maybe you could get him down into the mid to high 4.5 range once he gets in with Mike Joseph, but you can't teach size. Same thing that goes for when we talk about guys with the speed. You can't coach that, but you can't coach size either. And Malachi Thompson has that in droves, and who knows? He may not be finished growing yet. So I really like this pickup here. Let's take a look at some plays. It's a 6+ minute highlight tape from his junior year. If you want to watch the full thing, we'll take a look at a few plays here on this video, though. So here he is, bottom of your screen, lined up outside. Oh, a little double move there. Oh, what a grab. What a grab. Let me go back. Let me see that again. So first of all, watch how he loses this guy on this double move. Let me go back a little bit further so we can see it here. Okay, so first, watch. Comes in, makes it look, okay, I'm gonna run a curl route. Boom, busts it back, and that guy's lost already. He's out of the play. And the throw here, he's trying to drop it in between that corner and the safety. Does a decent job here, but look at this. Look at this grab. The ball kind of bounces off his hands, slides up his arm around to his shoulder pads, and he grabs this thing on his back, catches that thing on his back, and, gets possession of it before he goes out of bounds, get the feed in. Hey, there's some ball skills right there, accompanied with, a good route when you hit that double move. Okay, so here he is this time, top side of the screen there. Here he comes, breaking across, simple crossing route. Oh, yeah, go up and get it, young man. That's what you have with that size advantage there. Not necessarily open, but the quarterback kind of threw it open because he put it in a place where only he could get it. And you see Malachi Thompson not only tall, but has a little bit of a leaping ability to go up and snatch that at its highest point as well. Here he is here, bottom of the screen this time, coming in on a slant. And there you see a little bit of the speed. Like I said, he's got some speed. Don't let me knock him as he catches that slant route and splits the safeties to get into the end zone. And here he is, fade ball. This would be a good one to end on. Oh, wow. That's up over 2 defenders. That's up over. I would have loved to see that one at another angle. I didn't have the best angle on that, so let's watch one more here. Boom, and that's just straight speed. That's just a straight go ball, and he got behind the defender, and the quarterback dropped that one in the bucket. His quarterback's making some nice throws on some of these plays. So, obviously one thing that we know is, not knocking our home state or anything. There's some underrated and undervalued players in West Virginia, but also the level of competition isn't the same as, if he was playing in Florida, Texas, you name it. But having said that, the fact that he is as dominant as he has been shows how good of a player that he is. And you see that in some of this film here. So I'm excited about the pickup of Malachi Thompson. I think it's one that's probably flying under the radar, but I think he could be one of those in-state guys that becomes a contributor, a year or two down the road. Think your Preston Foxes, your Hudson Clements before he transferred, on down the line. I think Malachi Thompson could be a player for the Mountaineers. So love that pickup. We've added him. And then just recently today, we've also added Ricky Giles, who is a safety out of the state of Texas. See his 247 profile here. He is actually rated on 247. Good to see that. 3-star, 85 grade, top 150 safety in the country. And they do have him listed as a safety. I think Rivals has him listed as an athlete. And West Virginia earns his commitment over some other scholarship offers that he had, including Boise State, Memphis, Oregon State, Purdue, Texas State, Tulsa, Utah. So you see multiple other power conference programs going after Ricky Giles. So probably shows he's a pretty talented player there on his own. Let's pull up his Rivals profile. Then we'll hit his commitment announcement before we check out a few plays of Ricky Giles here. Pardon my dog barking. Wife just got home, I do believe. So 6 foot 175 listed as an athlete on Rivals. I thought that was the case. He is being recruited as a safety as far as I know. Not yet rated at Rivals in general, but we mentioned, the power conference programs being after him is certainly a good sign. So Ricky Giles, the safety, commits to the Mountaineers, and let's pull up his announcement when he put that information out here. He says, after years of hard work and dedication, I'm blessed to announce my commitment to West Virginia University. The blue and gold heart emojis there. Big thanks to my parents, auntie, and coaches for the love and support. Let's work. Let's go Mountaineers. Hashtag committed. Hashtag WVU. Hashtag Mountaineer Nation. And we see his commitment graphic there. And you can see the safety position highlighted there. So certainly that's what he's being recruited for by WVU. And you see that nice video that some of the commitment graphics the recruits have tweeted out with their commitment graphics, which we like to see there for Ricky Giles. But we've heard from him. We've seen his recruiting profiles. Let's peep some of the highlights. See what we got here in Ricky Giles coming in. Another recruit coming from Texas. We're going all over with this recruiting class here. And this recruiting class continues to be an impressive one. So let's take a look here. Ricky Giles at the safety spot. This one's nearly 5 minutes. Encourage you, as always, check out the full thing, but we'll hit a few plays here. So there he is right there in the middle of the field. This is on the Cowboys. This is on the Cowboys field. He must have played in the state title game, I'm guessing. I would assume that's probably the only games that get played there. That's pretty sweet, though, getting to play in Jerry World. So it looks like quarterback's bringing a speed option, cuts it upfield, so he's coming right at Ricky Giles. Let's see how he handles this thing one-on-one in the open field. Oh, he's dancing around, and Ricky Giles said, that's fine. You keep dancing sideways. I'm going to come downhill and stuff that thing. So there you see his ability to, diagnose a play, get downfield in a hurry. He came screaming downhill there. And most importantly, he kept that edge contained. Didn't let that quarterback get outside like he was trying to. All right, next play here. Oh, there's a pick. And that was man coverage as well. And you like what you saw there because he had his eyes, in the backfield. So he saw, the quarterback get hit when he threw it, and he was able to jump that route there. And that's a good job of him, having hands on his man there, keeping his man coverage up, but keeping his eyes, locked on seeing what the quarterback's doing as well. Eyes on the quarterback, hands on the man. Good stuff there. See here, check out at least one more. Here he is right here. Here's more of him at safety. That other one, that last one, he was kind of in the slot there. Now they're playing on SMU's field. So maybe some of these Texas teams just play on these fields. I don't know. But nonetheless, here he comes. See him dropping back here, reading the play. And look, he sees the run coming. Watch him trigger downhill. You see him? Here he comes. Bam. That's what I like about him, man. He forced a fumble on that one with a hell of a hit, but when he diagnoses the play, he pulls the pin and he goes, man. I like what I see from Ricky Giles, and yet again, it's another hard hitter, man. We've had several of those in this class, and look at that wood he just laid there to knock that ball loose. Let's watch one more play here. Look, this time he's coming all the way across the field. The running back's break. Look at him. He's going to chase him down. Oh, he hawked him. Awesome. So, hey, we see multiple things there in those few highlights in that first minute of that highlight package. We see him have edge contain, don't let a quarterback escape. We see him in man-to-man coverage, get an interception. We see him right there on the play before that, force a fumble with a hard hit when he saw the run, diagnosed it, and came downhill. And then right there, the play goes away from him. The running back breaks free. That's probably a touchdown run 90% of the time. But there you see the speed, and more importantly, I think what you see stand out there is the effort, his want to. That's a play that you got to want to go make, and he does that, and that's why he's going to fit in with this culture. So excited about Ricky Giles as well to go along with Malachi Thompson. I think these are two good pickups for WVU in this class. And as we're talking about it getting close to wrapping up, probably another 2 or 3 commitments, and West Virginia will feel pretty happy about where they sit with this 2026 class, which is good news here moving through the summer. But we also have someone that we're in the top 4 for in Javonte Smith, who is announcing his commitment tomorrow. It'll be streamed live on Instagram at noon tomorrow. I'll just be completely honest with you guys. You see the final 4 there: Arkansas, Missouri, Tennessee, and WVU. The fact that it's 3 SEC programs and WVU kind of tells me that he's probably wanting to go play in the SEC. So I would be surprised if WVU lands Javonte Smith, but it would be a hell of a pickup if we were able to add him. I'll pull up his recruiting profile and tell you guys a little bit about where he ranks, but he's a super explosive guy. Like I said, listed as an athlete, probably would be a receiver at the next level, 6 foot 170. And he's one of those quick twitch, speedy guys. 86th grade, 3-star recruit on 247, and one of the top 30 players in the entire state of Tennessee, top 150 wide receiver in the country. So would be a nice pickup. But like I said, personally, I don't feel that confident about it. Would love to be wrong and have him commit to WVU tomorrow. But keep an eye on Javonte Smith as West Virginia looks to close out this class in the near future. Like we said, now up to 22 names with the addition of Thompson and, of course, Giles that we covered in this video. Other than that, a couple of little football things I wanted to hit on here. Always got to share these with you guys. And that's the Weight Room Warriors. And we got this week's Weight Room Warriors. We have Rodney Gallagher, the wide receiver. We got Eddie V on the D-line. And how about one of the new linebackers, Ben Bogle, one of the more underrated additions that West Virginia brought in this transfer class. Those are your 3 weight room warriors for this week. And then lastly, well, I guess not lastly, I do have a couple of things because, like I said, I do want to tease you guys that are channel members for something that's coming up on the channel, and maybe sway you guys to want to become channel members here in the future with something that we're going to have coming for our channel members here in short order. But before we do that, I do want to share this as well, because you guys know Mario Alford, man, he was a stud back when he was in Morgantown, and he's continued that. This guy is still playing in the CFL, and not only is he still playing in the CFL, he's still making plays. Check this out. How about a game-winning kickoff return touchdown from Mario Alford?
Now, do you kick it to Mario Alford?
I wouldn't.
Or do you kick it away from Mario Alford?
Decisions. Ball on the tee. 23 seconds remaining. 32 all. Alford crosses the 20 to the 30 to the 40. He's got something to the 50. Come on races.
Still got that speed.
Touch him. No fight.
You know, a decade plus later, he's still got the speed. I just thought that was pretty sweet that Mario Alford's still burning people on kickoff returns, and how about it for a game winner in the CFL? So shout out to him, still doing his thing there. Okay, and I will get some of your all's comments after this, but before we wrap up, but do want to remind you guys watching on Facebook or Twitch, come over to the Country Roads Webcast YouTube channel, subscribe here, get our pre-recorded videos, podcast episodes, in addition to these live streams, and we'll keep you up to date on all things WVU sports. If you're watching here on YouTube, whether live or on the playback, hit that thumbs up button, help us with that algorithm. If you didn't get a chance to chat live, throw your thoughts in the comments. Appreciate those interactions as well. But before I get to y'all's comments, I do want to show this, because guess what, guys? I have 200 all 22 plays from Rich Rod's offense at Jack State. That's right. You guys know that are channel members. One thing that you get there as a benefit to being a channel member are film reviews for WVU games throughout the season, but also to get us through the off season, I like to go back and do some film reviews as well. You know, last year, of course, we went back and watched the season prior of WVU, but that's not going to do us any good this year with an all new roster, all new coaching staff. So what can we watch? We can watch Rich Rod's scheme. We can see how it's developed. We can scout it a little bit. We can watch Zach Alley's scheme. But what we're going to be doing first is definitely Rich Rod's offense, because like I said, I have 200 plus all 22 plays that were sent to me of Rich Rod's offense at Jack State. So if you want to take those in, you're definitely going to want to become a channel member, because we're going to be doing that here in the near future. But how about a tease? I'll show you guys a couple of the plays here just as a tease for some of you guys that are channel members, so you'll kind of get a tease for what's coming. But then you guys that aren't, maybe it'll convince you to want to do so. So let's take a look at a couple of these all 22 plays. All right, so here we are. I got a couple of different ones. You see, this one's like an hour plus. The other one I think is 58 minutes. The other one's from his first year. This one's more from last year. Tyler Huff here, quarterback. Trey Stewart here at running back. Our guy Cam Vaughn's up at the top of the screen. Let's take a look at this one. See what the first play is here. And I love that this is all 22. So we got a little motion here, and then boom, he's coming off right there. Look like a little switch concept potentially. Let's see what we got here. So you get a stop route there, and look at the running back leaking out on the wheel. Trey Stewart. Look at this safety here. Or this corner is back to him. This safety's all the way over in the middle of the field. This is money to Trey Stewart right here. Boom. Easy, about 20-yard gain there. Nice read for Tyler Huff. So watch how this thing breaks out now. Watch Trey Stewart come out of the backfield. Send him in motion. Bring that corner over. Takes him out because he's coming across the field. This route right here, which I believe this is Jordan McCants, who's also on our roster this year. Him coming across the field takes this corner just far enough away for Tyler Huff to be able to drop that thing in there. There's one. Let's take a look at another here. Of course. Come on, let's get to it now. full disclosure, I just had these sent to me recently, so I haven't had a chance to comb through them yet. But my plan is probably we'll do it in like 20-minute segments or something when we do it for the channel members here, which will get us through the off season. So let's take a look at another play though here. Tyler Huff, another man in motion. Okay, it's the same play from the end zone view. Got it. So that's cool. We get multiple views of the plays here. I like that. So let's take a look at one more here just to tease you guys a little bit. And maybe it'll convince you guys to become channel members, which I really appreciate our channel members here. They help keep this mic record and that camera rolling, and they're the catalyst that'll hopefully allow me to do this full time one day. But let's take a look at one more play here of Jack State's offense. So what do we got here? 10 personnel, which we got 4 wide receivers, 1 running back. 10 personnel is 1 running back, 0 tight ends. And that's kind of rare from when I watched Jack State last year. They were using tight end sets a lot, sometimes multiple tight end sets. So this formation that we're seeing them in here is a little bit more akin to what we saw Rich Rod run the first time he was back. The first time he was at WVU, rather. We were in 10 personnel a lot. That was kind of the basis of his offense then. It's evolved. But here, let's check out one play here in that 10 personnel here. 4 wide, 2 to each side. So 2x2 set. This is, I believe this is Cam Vaughn here, bottom of our screen. See what they're running here. Got play action fake. Got Huff dropping. Throwing a nice little comeback route. And there's a big pickup there on that one. See if I can get that from the other view as well. So a couple pass plays to start this thing off. We get the end zone view this time here. See Tyler Huff there. The quarterback spot. So let's see. Play action read. Already got his eyes downfield. Leaves the pocket. So you know he's going to one of these 2 reads on this side. And look at him just sitting right there in the zone. Is his wide receiver wide open? Another, I mean, that's an easy pitch and catch for 20+ yards right there. And we've seen that, we've watched 2 plays on this all 22 Jack State film, and you've seen Rich Rod draw up, 2, 20+ yard gains there just on those first couple of plays. So wanted to share that just to tease you guys, because I am excited about that all 22 Jack State film to get to go check out some of Rich Rod's offense. So that'll be coming up for channel members here over these summer months leading us into fall camp. Be on the lookout for that. And if you want to become a channel member, you can hit the join button in the video description or on the YouTube channel homepage. And we always appreciate our channel members, but we appreciate all our subscribers and everyone that comes in here and hangs out with us and chats with us a little bit. And that's what we're going to get to now before we wrap this one up. I want to get to some of your all's comments here in the chat before we call it a stream here covering this recruiting update. So we got C to the Wick. Let's go, ears. Hey, C to the Wick. Appreciate you hopping in, man. Just had C to the Wick in my other stream there on the JCCFB channel, talking a little bit about the college football video game. Found out my friend was from West Virginia. So shout out to C to the Wick, a fellow Mountaineer fan coming in here to the stream. Appreciate you. Hey, what's going on, Kenny? He says, let's go Mountaineers. He says his floor is 9 wins, ceiling 11-1. But if we beat Arizona State at their home, we could go 12-0. Hey, Kenny, I like it, man. I like it. You got that golden blue Kool-Aid, sipping on it. You got those golden blue glasses on, wearing them, keeping it super optimistic. I love that. I love that, Kenny. Yeah, exactly, Kenny. Good point as well. Randy Moss Award winner, something you got to love about the game of Malachi Thompson. That signifies best receiver in the state, and he's already won it, even before his senior year. Won it as a junior, which is pretty impressive in and of itself. C to the Wick says WVU's 90s swagger coming back. Hey, that's right. That's right. Finally getting back to our identity a little bit this upcoming season, and hopefully that means good things for us. And I'll tell you one thing. I don't think the Big 12's ready. They haven't seen the real West Virginia yet. We've been dealing with the air raid style, for our whole time we've been in the Big 12. And that's not us. That's not West Virginia. We're about to get that hard edge mentality back. They're about to find out who West Virginia really is in this Big 12 conference moving forward, the physicality that we can bring and that swagger that C2 the Wick's talking about as well. Kenny says, thanks for that. We needed it to save our program. Exactly. That goes right along with it, Kenny. Jesse Williamson said, whatever happened to recruit Jeff Weimer? So from what I understand, it's interesting because neither Jeff Weimer or Mikel Clay are listed on the official roster yet, but I've heard that they are enrolled at WVU. So hopefully they'll update the official roster, add them soon in the near future. For those of you that don't know, Jeff Weimer is a JUCO wide receiver, or was he a D2 wide receiver? One of the two. I think he's D2 actually, that we brought in that first transfer portal window back in the fall, or in the winter, I should say. And he's one that has a ton of stats, has a ton of production. So he's a guy that we're hoping to be in the mix at the receiver position. From what I understand, he has enrolled. That's at least what I've heard reported. Like I said, he's not on the official roster, which is weird. So we'll see if that changes in the near future. But for now, the latest that I've heard is he's still supposed to be in the fold. We'll see if that remains true moving forward. And same for Mikael Clay on the offensive line. But hopefully we'll get another roster update here soon where they add the freshmen. Maybe they'll add them as well. And if that does happen, Jesse, I'll bring another roster update video here on the channel in short order. We'll have at least a couple more of those here throughout the offseason, I'd say. But all caught up in the chat, looks like. So that'll pretty much do it for me on this one, guys. Wanted to come here, talk a little bit about these exciting commitments as this Take Me Home 26 class continues to expand and impressively expand, and wanted to talk about those guys. Wanted to, of course, talk about the Weight Room Warriors, and then a little bit of a tease of some Jack State Rich Rod offensive film we're going to watch here for our channel members in the near future. But that's what I had for this one, guys. Appreciate you all tuning in, whether you watch live or on a playback. And like I said, whether you do either one of those here on YouTube, you can hit that thumbs up button and help us out with the algorithm. Be sure you're subscribed here to the channel. Stay up to date on all your WVU sports news. And if you didn't get a chance to chat with us live, throw it in the comments section. Appreciate those interactions as well as we continue to try and grow the CRW community throughout Mountaineer Nation. And of course, can't forget you guys on the audio side. If you're listening there on any podcast platform, leave us a rating. That helps us out on that side of things. Appreciate you guys tuning in any way you choose to do so. We'll keep the information coming here throughout the offseason as we lead up to the Rich Rod 2.0 era, and hopefully have some news on the basketball side in the near future as well, and can talk about that in the lead up to the debut of Coach Ross Hodge as well. But that's where we're at now, and we're looking forward to the future and some exciting seasons for WVU sports, both football and basketball, and this 2026 class continues to impress, and I'm super hype about it. Know you all are as well, and I'll be back to chat with you guys again in the near future. Until next time, let's go Mountaineers.